that someday I'll share her home. I found a love to carry more than just myself.
Hello, hi everyone. Good afternoon again. Welcome to our 14th day of our MIS Marketing Institute of Singapore Lunchtime Webinar. Wow, time really flies, right? So we've reached 14th day. We started this, in fact, in early mid-April itself, where in fact MIS actually organized every day or every working day other than public holidays, Saturdays, Sundays, on Lunchtime Webinar. This is our initiative to keep you company throughout the whole COVID lockdown period or circuit breaker period itself. It's also for us to actually keep you company during this period of time. Hopefully, you'll be able to pick up something from our Lunchtime Webinar, and once after the lockdown period, you probably can consider about perhaps a career change. All right. In fact, today we'll be very delighted to present you another. In fact, it's our second series of our Lunchtime Webinar, and today we've got someone very interesting coming up for you, and it's none other than Mr. Iwan Setiawan. So the moment I mentioned Pak, I think you know, PAK. Mr. Iwan is joining us live from Jakarta, from his residence in Jakarta itself. In fact, Iwan is actually the CEO of Mark Plus, which I'm going to tell you more later, okay? So if you have missed out on any of our circuit breaker lunchtime webinar, should I call it circuit breaker? No, MIS lunchtime webinar itself. Now you can always look out for the past speakers on either on our MIS Marketing Institute of Singapore YouTube, or you can even go onto our Facebook. Now, sad to say, today we're having a bit of problem with our Facebook Live, so that's why I actually come on board about 2 minutes later. They were trying to resolve it, and we're being told that Zoom has actually removed the Facebook Live link up. So can someone just tell Zoom, don't do that, okay? Because a lot of our attendees or viewers are actually coming from Facebook itself. But nonetheless, it's okay. We just make do with what we have today, and then you know, you can always visit our YouTube. Today, in fact, we are having quite a fair bit of our friends coming from China. 中国的朋友，你们大家好。今天我们今天那个中国的那个贸促会，有帮我们promote 我们今天的 webinar， 谢谢。OK， 所以我们看到我们一些中国的朋友在网站。Sorry if you think that why am I speaking Chinese? It's actually catering to some of our viewers coming from China. So welcome 我们中国的营销界的朋友。Okay, then of course now I can't say this. I think our next slide, please. Okay, now today because it's Iwan, okay. Now Iwan Setiawan, like what I've said is, to me, I consider him as the guru in today's modern marketing. So he actually co-authored with Philip Kotler and Hermawan, Iwan's boss, in Marketing 4.0. So this is a book that I think I come to know about it about 3-4 years ago, and we're still in it right now. In fact, they're preparing for their Marketing 5.0 right now. So I'll be giving away 3 of these books from my own, okay, on my own. So please today, if you can, log on to our MIS Facebook, like or shares our Facebook itself, and tell me why you think that you deserve to actually win this Marketing 4.0 book. Okay, it's retail at $38 Sing dollars itself. So if you want, do log on to our Facebook. Okay. Now, in fact, today Iwan will be sharing with us on the topic of Marketing 4.0. Now, I think you'll be sharing with us from how you move from traditional to digital marketing. I think at this time, if you're still thinking about digital marketing, if you're thinking about traditional marketing, then perhaps you probably will feel the impact of the stress right now, right? Where everyone is actually working from home right now, especially those in Singapore. So, like what I've told Iwan, I've actually had a very short conversation with him, in fact, before this session itself. I've actually a couple of friends that own digital marketing agencies, and what they tell me right now is that their business is booming, right? Reason why? Because a lot of traditional industries or traditional business, they start looking at, hey, how can I engage my customers, my consumers online? So they start a full series of digital marketing campaign, going on YouTube, going on their Facebook, going on search engine, ensuring that their websites are there, pretty much, okay? And for them, it's also about getting the logistic being delivered, right? The items being delivered on logistic stuff. So they're beefing up on their logistic at the same time. So I can see that, there's a boom in terms of this area. So for Singapore itself, Singapore companies, our government are doing a great job. There are a lot of grants out there. So to get yourself on a digital platform, as far as I know, it's up to even 80-90% of the cost incurred. So please don't miss out on that, okay? All right, so Iwan is also a frequent writer and speaker. I've heard him spoken in numerous conference. Great speaker, okay, and authors of books. In fact, he authored quite a number of books together with Professor Philip Kotler, who is the father of marketing. So now, like what I said, you're not here to hear from me. You're here to hear what Iwan has to say. He is also one of our MIS trainer, which he'll be delivering our training programs online, via online stuff, which I'll tell you more after his sessions. Okay. So next, okay, MIS itself, we are actually we also offer executive development program. Now, how Iwan is linked with us is that he's actually one of our executive trainer, and we have over 120 courses that you can attend. It stretches between 1 day to 3 days to 4 days program. Okay, over 9 disciplines. So 9 disciplines are sales, events management, leadership, marketing, business management, communication, service excellence, human capital management, and personal effectiveness. Okay, so do look out for Iwan's courses among the 9 disciplines. Okay, all right, next. Now at this time, like what I said, now you can see we also have our diploma courses. In fact, diploma programs has been running at MIS for more than 20 over years, close to 30 years. I'm one of the past graduates from the Marketing Institute of Singapore. So today, under our Marketing Institute of Singapore Business School, we do have the Advanced Diploma in Digital Marketing. Now, if you find that you need to be a qualified digital marketer, you certainly need a academic qualifications to back you up, right? You can't be just anyone being a digital marketer, uh, knowing that, to know something about Facebook or LinkedIn, and then you sort of call yourself a digital marketer. No, there are proper certification process. So what you can do, attend our advanced diploma in digital marketing. And all this are being done on part-time, so that you don't have to compromise your job or working. I would advise you at this age itself, or in this digital age, if you're not armed with the knowledge of digital marketing, then I think you probably be in for surprises and trouble. Okay? In fact, you should attend our course in our advanced diploma, which we make it very easy for you. It can be done online or it can be done on campus. So I would suggest, just look up for this and see if you really want to take up this. And we make it very affordable for everyone. Our diploma in sales and marketing and our diploma in business itself is something that we've been running for the past 20 over years, 30 years. Okay, so do look out, and if you can see there's a number out there, or you can send us on our MIS BS Business School website. Log on to that, and you can reach out to us. I would encourage you, not just for yourself. You can be thinking about your kids, your sons and daughters, or in fact even your nephew and nieces. Okay, probably they are better digital marketer than you are right now. So I would encourage, get everyone to start on getting a qualification in digital marketing. You won't know when you will need it. Okay, all right, next slide, please. Now, of course, you can always join us as a member. MIS, we are actually an association for marketers. So if you want to know how to join us as our member itself, right, you can always call the 2 numbers that are appearing on screen right now, Miss Judy and Mr. Eggle. Okay, you can text them, WhatsApp them, or otherwise you can send them an email. All right, being our members itself, you get a lot of freebies. Okay, I would say like discount to our courses. For executive program, right up to 20 or 30%, which is a good value right now. Okay, so look into how you can join us as a member, as an associate member. All right, for those that are from overseas, 国外的朋友，如果你要参加我们的会员的话，我们新加坡营销协会的会员，你可以上网 就上我们的网站，我们有国外的会员。Okay, it's also for overseas. All right. So do look out how you can sign up as our MIS International Associate member or associate members. You can, in fact, as our associate members, use the title as ASS MIS in your credentials. So I think it helps to a certain extent, besides getting discount. And from time to time, we will be invited to our events. Okay, next slide. MIS, we are doing our very bit as an association. We are asking for donation. We are asking for masks. Okay. In fact, in Singapore, we are very glad that our government. I've been saying that. I think the government need to recognize me. No kidding. Okay. We have been. Our government are doing their very bit in offering, in giving every Singaporean or those that live in Singapore itself masks to protect ourselves. So that tells you how important a basic thing like masks can actually help us to actually fight the COVID-19 virus. So this is where I couldn't say much on some of our neighboring countries. In fact, as I know, those in Philippines, even some in Indonesia, I don't know if Iwan will agree with me, Bangladesh, even Malaysia, they can't even get themselves a proper mask because of cost and at the same time because it's not made available to them. So here we are working with our Philippines counterpart, the Philippine Marketing Association, in trying to get the mask from Singapore to Philippines, okay? And to be offered to the frontliner, I think 20% of all these masks will be given to the frontliner, such as those in the nurses, the doctors. Most of it will goes to the community. All right, they'll be going to the rural area, those underprivileged families, especially kids, old folks that really needed a mask to protect themselves. So, do help us. There is a QR code over there. Scan the QR code, and then you can get into the platform and understand how you can actually help us. For a box of masks will cost you only $20. Okay, so $20 you'll be able to benefit about 50 masks to be given to 50 people in Philippines. So do help us. I think by doing a good deed, I think it's also your duty as a global citizen, not just for Singaporean but for those that are overseas. So do help us, okay? So you can find out more information on how you can donate such masks to be given to the Philippines. Okay, all right. Next, next slide. Okay, now well, we've reached the beginning of our sessions, and let me tell you more about Iwan. Okay, now Iwan itself is actually the chief executive officer of Mark Plus Inc., where he helps to design and map out the whole uh, marketing strategies and run the company at the same time. I know of Mark Plus. I've visited their office numerous times. In fact, Mark Plus is actually one of the top agency in Indonesia, and the founders is actually Pak Hermawan, Kartajaya, which is also one of the co-author of Marketing 4.0. Okay, and Iwan actually holds a Masters of Business Administration, MBA with Kellogg Schools of Management at the Northwestern University. And he actually, I think he studied directly under Professor Kotler at certain point of time. So I think he's someone that I've got a high respect and high due respect for him when it comes to marketing. And I'm, from his conference, from his seminars, I'm always able to pick up something new. Okay, so as a marketer itself, we can't be stagnant, right? We always want to pick up what is new out there, what is viable. So like what I said, for marketers, for traditional marketers like you and me, I think it's about time that we upgrade ourselves, right? To know what is, how are the new classifications of the customers or the consumer itself, how to reach out to them, the changes in consumer behaviors nowadays is very different, especially when it comes to digital age. All right. So you're not hearing from me today. You'll be hearing from Iwan, Pak Iwan Setiawan. So without further ado, let's welcome Iwan into the room. Iwan, hi. Hello, hi, Iwan.
Hi, Roger.
Hey,
How are
hi.
you?
We're having a bit of difficulty hearing you. Are you hearing us? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you, Roger.
Iwan, welcome to join us. Despite of your very, very busy schedule as the CEO of the top agencies in Indonesia, we are certainly very appreciative over your time, especially during your lunchtime, and doing it from your home itself. So we're certainly very, very glad that you are able to join us. for this MIS Lunchtime Webinar. In fact, you are the very first overseas, I think second, sorry, first. First was the one in Australia. Your first or second, in fact, that joined us from overseas itself. And thanks for wanting to actually educate or share with what you know on Marketing 4.0. I trust and I believe that our attendees certainly will be able to pick up something from you. And to know more about that, let's welcome Iwan to our room. Welcome, Iwan.
Thank you, Roger. It's my pleasure. I'm so happy to be here with all of you, coming from different countries to attend an overview session of Marketing 4.0. So let me share my slide. I'm just gonna go directly to the slides that I'm gonna present today. Okay. Okay. Good day, everyone. Today I'm going to share an overview of my book, Marketing 4.0. It's a book about digital marketing, but not digital marketing per se, because what we talk about in this book is more of a transitional strategy of companies moving from traditional to digital. Because as we know, not everyone from the customer side are digital right now, and not all companies from the supply side are digital right now. So we're in the transitional process, and we believe that we need a certain method, a certain approach that we can use to attract customers in this digital era. So let me start with showing you some of the recent challenges that we're facing as marketers. And then the second part, later part, I'm going to share with you the strategies to mitigate the challenges and how we solve these challenges in our own organizations or companies. So there are 5 challenges. I'm going to start with the very first one, and this is very relevant in today's era, especially in the COVID-19 era, whereby everyone is being forced to be digital. I think in the COVID-19 situation, we are seeing an acceleration in digitalization. People who are not accustomed to digital life, now they are forced to have a digital lifestyle. They're forced to order food online. They're forced to shop online, and so on and so forth. So in the digital world, we have so many contents to consume. In fact, everyone is competing for your screen time. You have hundreds of messages on your WhatsApp every day. There are, I think, millions of YouTubers competing for your attention on YouTube and on other social media platforms. So there are estimated 2.5 quintillion bytes. That's to the power of 18. That's a lot of data. And unfortunately, the irony, the paradox is that we don't have enough attention to consume all that content. So everyone is trying to cram in all their content, all their promotion, all their ideas into our 8 seconds attention span, which is very, very short. And we're actually competing with a goldfish in terms of attention span. So we're very, very, we are a creature, we are humans that are not capable of paying attention during a long period of time. And what this does to marketing is that it changes marketing forever. You know, if you remember in the traditional textbooks of marketing, people say if you do advertising, you do 30 seconds because people believe 30 seconds is the optimal time to deliver your messages. Now, if your ideas or your message is not interesting enough in the first 8 seconds, they will drop off and not seeing the rest of your commercial. So 8 seconds is a new benchmark. And in fact, I think Google through YouTube has established a new standard. It's 5 seconds. If you're not interesting enough in the first 5 seconds, they can skip your ad. So it's a skippable advertising world where everyone is battling for your attention and they have no idea how to do it. It's not as easy as, you know, shortening a 30-second ad into an 8-second time frame. It's completely different than that. You have to recreate the whole message so that you can send it across in a very short period of time. And I think on Instagram, for example, some companies are already trying to deliver messages in 3 seconds because they have no time to deliver more messages in a very, very short attention span. That's number one. Number two, we know that we are now have 5 generations living together on Earth. In the very beginning, baby boomers were very, very popular among marketers because baby boomers have lots of money. They're called boomers for a reason because there's so many of them, and most of them have buying power. So it's an economic powerhouse. But they're aging, right? They're aging, and as marketers, you cannot rely on them all the time, especially in the long run. So you started to target Gen X, younger generation, but a very, very different personality from the baby boomers. Most Gen X have working parents, so they don't have enough family time. They tend to be very independent. They tend to be very creative because they watch MTV growing up. So it's a very, very different generation to baby boomers. And then we have Gen Y. We call it Gen Y because they ask why all the time at the office. If you tell them to do something, they ask why 5 times. Drives you crazy, but that's Gen Y because they are questioning everything. And Gen Y are the children of baby boomers. So their parents are baby boomers. Their parents are wealthy, most of them. So Gen Y is more of a privileged children. So they question everything in their work life, in their daily life. And then we have the Gen Z, the newcomer coming to the attention of marketers. Gen Y is, I should say, the first digital native because they were born after the era of internet. So they have no idea what it's like before the internet was invented. They see screen all the time and they see it's something normal. That's the normal for them. So if they miss that, if they don't have the screen time, they will be very sad. So Gen Z are the children of Gen X, and they are the one that are most accustomed to screen time. But Gen Y and Gen Z are very different. If you talk about selfies, Gen Y and Gen Z love selfies. They like to take pictures of their food. They like to take pictures of their destinations, tourist destination, and so on. But Gen Y is more of a perfectionist. You see, Gen Y loves to have a professionally shot, carefully filtered photos and videos, while the Gen Z, they like something more authentic. They like something more raw. So they're very different in that sense. And imagine having to serve these 2 generations at the same time with the same product, with the same services you have. It's a nightmare. Not to mention, you still have a lot of focus on baby boomers, people that owns the money. So you need to have a careful balance on which customer you're serving in your portfolio of organization. And of course, we cannot forget about the last generation coming up, the Generation Alpha. These people, these kids, they're less than 9 years old, 10 years old. They are very, very digital. In fact, they were born probably already have the capability to understand visual user interface. So small children, they don't know how to play, they don't know how to read, but they can play a game because games are so visual. If they see 2 arrows, one green, one red, they press green, they know it's a yes, and they press red, they know it's a no, and they see an arrow pointing to the right, they think it's a next. So every single visual cue they understand well, even though they haven't had the capability of reading. So this generation is a very special generation. It's very visual. Imagine having your posters or brochure with lots of words and very tiny portion of visuals. You will not be able to attract these children because their language are visual, their language are not text. So that's the second challenge. The third challenge is what I call digital divide, because not everyone is digital right now. Not everyone is able to survey online and then buy things online. In fact, Most people, I think about 75% are web rooming or showrooming. Web rooming means that you search online, you do discovery online, but then you buy in store. And we tend to do this because we are not patient enough to wait for the goods to be delivered, and it's convenient to just walk into the store, but you do research beforehand. But then there is the other side, which is showrooming, where you experience it in store. You try out clothes, you try out shoes, and then you buy it online because of the discount. So that's called showrooming. Most people are having dual experience, I should say hybrid experience of online and offline. So in that case, you cannot be 100% digital. There's no way you can serve these people because there are none. There are not a lot of people that are 100% digital. Most of them are living in two worlds. And so you need to have a combination between traditional marketing, traditional channels, and digital marketing as well, because you want to serve the web rooming and showrooming at the same time. So that's number 3. Number 4 is about this new irony that I would like to introduce. You know, most innovation, if you can see from the slides on the left, most innovations are in the product feature. The volume of innovation in the last decade are mostly product feature and product system, the one with the green color. But then you see there is no value in creating that because you cannot increase the price. You introduce new features, but all you can do is halt them or stop them, preventing them to go to your competitors, but you cannot increase the price. There's no value of introducing new features. And so you ask yourself, why should I bother doing product development if I cannot increase my pricing? And so the question is, what can people do to increase pricing? And if you can see, it's either business model or network model with the blue color, or the yellow ones, the new CX. And I should say that business model innovation is very difficult. I don't think you can do it over and over again. You could probably do it every 10 years, but new CX, you can do it all the time. And it's a lot easier than business model innovation. So in a way, if you want to create more value, you have to introduce new customer experience. And what sort of new customer experience is on the rise at this moment? It's a combination between the online CX and, of course, the traditional customer experience. And then finally, the fifth trends that I'm seeing, the fifth challenge, is the polarizing market. In the past, in traditional textbooks, we see that everyone is telling you you have to be a clear winner, which means that you have to be the #1 market leader, serving everyone and being loved and being respected by everyone. But in fact, it's nearly impossible in the digital era because you will always have haters. You will always have your lovers and fans, but you will always have haters on the other side as well. If you can see, these two brands are the top brands in their respective areas. You know, Starbucks and McDonald's. In fact, you know, they have this this Big Mac index whereby, because it's everywhere around the world, you can actually see purchasing power parity based on the price of Big Mac. And Starbucks also have what they call latte index, which compares purchasing power across across the world with latte prices. So these two companies are global companies around the world, and yet they are not able to satisfy everyone, because today it's a polarizing market. You see, if you love Starbucks, 30% people love Starbucks, but 23% people hate it. People who love it said that it's a great experience. You get to hang out and to see and to be seen by others. But the 23% said it's an overly priced coffee and it's not really good. If you really know coffee, it's not a good coffee. So if you understand the concept of Net Promoter Score, NPS, you know, the formula of NPS is overly simplified. It said how many people love you, promoters, how many people hate you, or detractors, and then you subtract promoters with detractors and you get NPS. And in that case, Starbucks has 30% minus 23%, NPS 7%. Likewise, McDonald's, even worse, 4% NPS, which means that they should close down because the theory, the concept of NPS says if you have a single-digit NPS, you're in trouble. But the reality is they're not in trouble. They are stronger and stronger every day. And it is normal for people to have haters in the digital world. If you see one of the world's biggest YouTubers, they will always have on their comment section hate speech. People hate them. And that what brings their audience bigger and bigger. Because in a polarizing world, if you want to promote something, you have to create conversation. And conversation only happens if you have two sides. If you agree on everything, you won't have an interesting conversation. You need to have disagreement to have an interesting conversation. So conversation only happens if you have haters and you have lovers or fans at the same time. So it's a completely different world with completely different key success factors. So that's what I'm saying. With all these 5 challenges, you need a new strategy. The things you've learned in the past are obsolete. It's no longer appropriate for the new world. So what are the strategies? So I'm going to tell you a brief overview of the book. The book is now best-selling in a lot of countries. In fact, we have about, I think, over 20 translations, copies around the world. Last year I went to Italy. I buy the Italian version. It's available. I went to Ho Chi Minh. I bought the Vietnamese version as well. I went to Seoul last year as well. I went there and I saw it in the bookstore. I bought it as well. So it's everywhere because it's being translated into lots of languages around the world. It was published 2017, about 3 years ago, in the US by Wiley. It's now being used everywhere around the world, including in my home country, Indonesia. So these are some of the copies of Marketing 4.0 being translated overseas. What do we talk about? Why is it so universal that a lot of people are using it globally? We are saying that no matter where you are, you will always experience a customer path similar to the one I'm showing right now. It's called the 5 A's, which means that if you are trying to buy something, you start from awareness, you know the thing that you want to buy, you are attracted to it, you love it, and then you ask questions about it. You ask your friends, your family, your peers, and then you act on it, you buy it, you use it. If you like it, you advocate them. But of course, that's a simplified process. And in most cases, people drop off in certain stage. So they might not aware of your campaign because you are not placing the message in the right media. So wrong media placement. So they drop off in the awareness in the early phase, or you get the right placement, but you're not sending the right message. They're not interested. So they drop off in A number 2, or they're actually interested in it. They go to the store, it's not available because your channel management is not really good. You don't have availability. So they went to the store to buy and it's not available. So they drop off at A number 4, and so on and so forth. So you can fail in every step of the way. And to make sure you are successful, you have to drive customers from A number 1 to all the way to A number 5. And that's not an easy task. So there are essentially four major steps in this customer path. Aware from aware to appeal, from appeal to ask to act, and act to advocate. So let me go through some of the strategies, right? The first one is, how do you create attraction? How do you attract people? We will use a method we call human-centric marketing. I'll explain a little bit later. And then once you attract them, you want to build curiosity because you want them to ask more questions so you can explain more questions. Remember that the attention span is 8 seconds. You have no ability, no chance to explain your message in the first meeting because your first interaction will be short. And once you get that attraction in place in the very beginning, and then you can build curiosity for them to ask more questions so you can explain more to them. And that's what we call content marketing. And then number 3, you want to be able to reach them in all their touch points. You want to be able to have an omni-channel experience, which means that people are web rooming or showrooming doesn't matter because you're everywhere. You have all the channels online and offline, so you're able to interact with them when they want to buy. You're available everywhere. And finally, you want to build affinity, which means that you want people to love you more. You want people to have respect towards your brand. You want to build long-term relationships. So you build engagement marketing. So there are 4 building blocks of marketing 4.0. And I will show you what we need to do in each phase. Please note that we don't have time to go through everything because this is a week-long course at MIS. So I'm just going to go briefly over some of the key aspects of each of the building blocks. So human typically have 6 elements. 6 elements of a great human. Number 1, physicality. People say, you know, external beauty and so on and so forth versus internal beauty. People say it doesn't matter if you're not beautiful outside as long as you're beautiful inside. But to be honest, human nature, they always judge people from the external look, because the first thing people look at when they see other humans is that the physicality. Are you attracted to them physically or not? And so we say a brand, if you want to have a physical attraction, you have to be interesting. Your packaging has to be good. You have to have a decent effort in design. You got to have a good look of your product. And not only that, you need to be able to evoke emotions. That's called emotionality, because you cannot be a dead thing in the mind of the customer. You have to be like human. You have to be able to evoke emotions like humans do. And intellectuality. People love brands that are innovative, people who are expert in their respective field, people who are offering state-of-the-art products, all the newest experiences and services. That's called intellectuality. And personability, people who are easy to go to talk to, people who are approachable, people who are able to build relationship. And so that's what we call sociability. So brand should be human. Brand should be able to be like human in the sense that humans are vulnerable. Brands tend to be perfect. They want to be perfect all the time. You see, in traditional marketing, you cannot show your weakness. Even you twist your weakness into strength. You said, you know, I'm not available everywhere because my distribution actually are terrible. But what I said to customers is I'm exclusive. I'm not available everywhere. I'm only available in exclusive channel. That's a good way of telling everyone that you don't have a good distribution strategy. And people don't want to show their weaknesses in the past, but today you want to be open because humans are vulnerable, and the more vulnerable you are, the more you are believable. If you say, I'm perfect, I have no weaknesses, you're not believable, and people will not be trusting you. That's human-centric marketing. And then we move on to content marketing. And content marketing is not about social media marketing itself, but it's about engaging your customers with careful content that are being sent out with purpose, right? With certain purpose, whether to entertain them, to educate them, to convince them, or to inspire them. And I always say that there are numerous ways of doing this. You want to entertain people, you do viral videos, you do contests online, or you want to educate people, you do infographics, tutorials, and so on and so forth. If you want to inspire people, you do top lists, like for example, top 10 places to visit before you die. And that's a very common content that airlines or travel agencies send. You do endorsement marketing as well to inspire people that, you know, top people have used the same product. And of course, a final step will be to convince them, because we don't want to entertain them only, we want them to buy our product. And eventually your content has to be able to convince them with product demos, case studies, and so on and so forth. So we start with entertainment, which is very emotional, and we go all the way to education, which is very rational, but very, very long term. And then we go to inspiration, and then we go to convince, and convincing is very, very rational. So it's about playing with your customer's mind, being able to send the right content rationally, intellectually, and emotionally. The third part is omni-channel. Of course, people jump from offline to online and back and forth, vice versa, all the time because of the showrooming and web rooming. The thing is, you don't know when they're online or whether they're offline. It's called hybrid behavior. In fact, I call it phygital, physical plus digital, phygital. And in the phygital world, you tend to you have to be everywhere, because you don't know whether they're going to be online in the awareness stage or they're going to be offline in the awareness stage. So you try to be able to map, you need to map where they are in each stage, and you need to prepare and put priorities into that touch points, because you want to be there when they're actually there. So you can see, for example, if I want to buy something, I see it on TV and then I watch the online ad. But I don't like the one on TV. I like the one on the mobile app, because it's a lot shorter, it's a lot concise. And then I talk to the chatbot. The chatbot's not satisfactory in answering the questions. So I talk to the sales rep, and then I buy in store. I'll tell my friends, I brag about it, and then I share on Instagram. So you see, I jump from offline to online and back and forth, and you just have to be everywhere to be able to serve them. And the final step will be what we call engagement marketing. Engagement marketing has three major elements: mobile application, which means that the only thing that people cannot go out with, or they cannot live it out at this moment, is their mobile phone. It's everywhere. Even before COVID-19, your mobile phone will always stay near your presence. It is by your bedside. You take it to the bathroom. You take it everywhere. You cannot survive without your mobile phone. You do payments on mobile phones. You send money through mobile phones. You buy things on your mobile phones. In COVID-19 era, it's even a lot more. So mobile application is a way to engage people, because it's going to be in your pocket every day. That's a way to reach them effectively. Not only mobile application, and you also need to have a platform to build relationships called social CRM. Gone are days where you talk to your sales rep by the phone, or you meet them directly. Especially during COVID-19 era, you ask questions, customer service questions, or complaint questions to your companies or brands through social media. It's called social CRM. And some companies, for example, have lots of experience doing this. Marriott Hotel, for example, they have social listening command center where, and if you stay in one of their hotels, and if you say, I went to the pool, but the pool station was not attended, nobody was there, I complained on Twitter. I said, hey, I went to this 5-star hotel, but I went to the poolside, no one is there. I'm disappointed. 5 minutes later, the GM brought the towel directly by himself, because the command center back in the US picked up that sentiment, that negative sentiment, and then called the GM directly and said, hey, you have a problem by the pool, you need to fix it. And in real time, almost real time, in 5 minutes, they fix it because of that social listening platform. And that's called engagement marketing. You don't want to wait 1 times 24 hours. It has to be near real time in the digital era. And not only that, you also need gamification. If you notice, loyalty program is the primitive version of gamification, whereby you can collect points if you do things. And so you can encourage certain behavior, and you incentivize that behavior and turn it into points. And so you can actually incentivize people to do what you want and engage them by, of course, having this gamification. That's called engagement marketing. And that completes the cycle, that completes all the 5 A's that you need to know in terms of marketing 4.0. I know I'm probably talking too fast, so if you miss some pointers, you want to take a look at it again, I suggest you download the material at this link, bit.ly/MIS, big caps, marketing 4. Remember, it's cap sensitive, so if you want to download it, make sure big M, big I, big S, and then all small caps, marketing 4. Download before I turn off the link 24 hours from now. Thank you so much. I'm going to send it back to Roger. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Iwan, so much for your sharing. Okay, certainly, I think it's a really new way of looking at marketing and how you engage, especially the digital natives. So I was talking about me being a digital alien, trying and of course a digital migrant, trying to migrate into being a digital native itself through trying to pick up courses such as yours and some digital marketing skills. So I believe it is important for everyone. 还有中国的朋友如果是说你有任何疑问你要发问的话，你尽管就以华文来就是说发问，我会尽量把你的问题翻译给我们的老师Iwan. I'm just speaking to some of our Chinese. Today we can see that there are about 10 of our Chinese counterparts coming from China, Beijing, and the rest of the places. So if they do have questions, they can always post it in Chinese, and I'll try to translate it and post the questions to you, Mr. Iwan. Okay, hi Iwan. I saw your slides. Interesting. I'm among the 23% of haters to Starbucks. To me, Starbucks coffee is never nice. To me it's too diluted and things like that. Hopefully, someone from Starbucks, please don't fault me for it, because seriously, I'm one of the haters. And you're right, how to convert haters like me into someone that can advocate for them. I think it probably take a long process. They need to engage me. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, we have a questions from Mr. Zhu Zhenrong. Mr. Zhu Zhenrong, I think he have got 2 questions. One he posted on the Q&A. He asked, why from baby boomer is it true that the different marketing for different generations? I think you somewhat touched on that, right, Iwan? So maybe you'd like to reiterate that again. From baby boomers, just a very brief. I think if anything at all, they can always view back on our YouTube channels. Iwan?
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting that every single generation has different behavior. And I saw the question. It's true that a lot of Gen Y are asking questions, and that is driving a lot of people at work very crazy, because we are very used to the previous generation, which doesn't ask a lot of questions, and so that's the biggest problem. We are accustomed to serving a completely different generation from what we are serving right now. So we are being accustomed to not having people question you back. In the past, if you say something during marketing exercise, people will just take it as the truth. Similar thing happens at work. If you ask your subordinate and they're Gen X or baby boomers, they will say, yes, boss, I will do it right away. But today, you got frustrated because we are not able to do that anymore. Because if you ask your Gen Y or Gen Z employees to do things, they will ask you, why, boss? Why should I do this? And you have to spend time to explain. And it happens as well in marketing exercise. You have to be able to explain to them all their questions. And that is something we need to get accustomed to in today's era.
Very true, Iwan. I think from my engagement with my staff and some of my customers, there are always never-ending questions, keep asking, why? I'm like, sometimes, why don't you think? Why don't you think on your own? You probably know the answers, and yet it becomes a norm for them to ask questions, without even going through the thought process maybe, and then straight away it becomes like a habit for them to ask. Yeah, we just have to understand. I think we have to change with time. Our next question is also by Mr. Su Senrong. I suspect it's probably from China, coming from China, Beijing. Now he asked that what's your difference between your 5R, which is the aware, appear, ask, and act, and advocate, versus the IDA model. I think the IDA model is some where we pick up, in our textbooks, and it's also in practice as a traditional. I think, he's asking what's the difference, why the reclassification on that. So from the 5As from IDA models to 5A. IDA being attention, interest, desire, and action.
Okay, so I'm going to answer that question. IDA model assume one thing, which is that customer are deciding by themselves. So it's a personal decision-making process, which means that if I want to buy something, I decided by myself. So all the attention, the interest, the desire is coming from myself. But in the 5A model is very social, which means that you don't get to decide by yourself. You ask questions from your friends and family and peers. In fact, when I bought my car, my recent car, I didn't go and do a test drive. What I did was I asked some of my friends who I know understand cars a lot. And so I asked their question, and 4 out of 8 that I asked recommend this certain brand of car. And so I bought the car right away, which means that my choice of car was not actually my own choice. And IDA fails to recognize that because they assume, the IDA model assumes that everything is being considered within their own mind. And in today's digital era, that's not true because most decisions are being decided socially. And why is that the case? Because we don't have the enough attention to make a decision. We only have 8 seconds. So we need to combine the 8 seconds from our mind with the 8 seconds from our friends and family. And so we are able to make a better decision socially.
Thanks for that answer. I think it's a smarter way, right? Using the 5As, especially when you've got, your community around you, and you sort of get the person that has actually, or the group of supporting group that actually knows about the product, and getting the direct advocates or the opinions from them. And I think it's definitely a better way in terms of making decisions. Great answer to that, Iwan. Okay, which brings me to the next question by Cahaya. All right, you asked, like, do you have tips in this situation, pandemic, COVID-19, how to get more awareness, because every company have digital campaign now, and there are too many contents floating around. Great question.
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. There's so many contents, but people tend to shut down their mind if they see content that are not relevant. And so I would like to suggest a better way to package your content. It has to be more authentic. It has to be a bit raw, and also showing your vulnerability. So I'm going to share some examples of companies that are doing that. A lot of companies, hotel companies, are in trouble because they are the most hit sector during the COVID-19. Hotels are only having an occupancy level of 1%, 2%. Most of them are less than 5%. So they're the worst hit sector within the COVID-19. What they did was they don't surrender and say, oh, okay, we're going to shut down operation and we're going to shut down customer engagement. No, in fact, they increase the frequency of customer engagement. How do they do that? Their chef working from home, they come on Instagram Live and then cook at home and share some of their recipes. Because you don't want to have that content professionally shot. You want it to be as authentic as possible, with kids running around yelling, during the take of that video. You want all the family of the chef around in the house to give you that authentic feel that, okay, this chef is actually not doing a professional content, they're doing something that are authentic. And that is something more interesting in today's era. People want to see vulnerability because everyone is, of course, is upset with this condition, and you have to accommodate that. You have to have the sympathy for that. It's not the time for a well choreographed or or professionally shot content. It's time for a more authentic, raw, and also something more vulnerable as your content.
I do agree with you. You know, sometimes showing your vulnerability actually shows authenticity. There must be something about you or your company or your product or your services that you know, the two edge of a cutting sword. It can't just be everything good. Sometimes showing a bit of vulnerability, telling them about the cons of your services or your product itself, actually would on the other way promotes trust through authenticity. So I think that is a great move, you know. Okay, which brings me to the next question. By Ms. Georgina Tay, excuse me. Referring directly to the digital divide challenge for marketer, are there any recommendations to avoid showrooming? It seems to be a norm for shoppers who experience in-store to shop for bargain buys online from alternate sources. Okay, so Iwan, I think, you know, we're talking about bargain buy online. And then what you show them in store, they can actually get it from other sources, probably the same product or same services from bargain. So while you spend a lot of effort setting up the showroom, setting up a platform and talk about products, but the purchase actually may be coming from somewhere. I hope that's what Ms. Georgina is actually asking. So Iwan, what's your take on that?
Okay, so there is no way around that problem. People will always have that hybrid behavior of showrooming and web rooming. But what you can do is that you try to accommodate that need by having both model at the same time, which means if you're an e-commerce player, you need to bring that showrooming into your model. And I think lots of players in the e-commerce sectors are building showroom as well, because they want to be able to, you know, it's a big problem from them as well, you know. They're not only taking the benefit. People showrooming in an actual physical store, it doesn't guarantee that they will buy from your e-commerce store. So they're competing with multiple e-commerce stores. So they need to ensure, and I think a lot of players are doing that. I think JD from China, Lazada as well, Southeast Asia-based company are doing that. They build showroom. Sometimes a pop-up store, sometimes they have a permanent store. What they do is that they want to show that we build showrooming experience even though we are an e-commerce player. And the same thing also required from your model. If you are a physical outlet that is being disrupted by showrooming behavior, what you can do is that you can have, I think a lot of department stores and retailers in the US have done this. What they can do is that they allow people to buy online in their store. So they provided iPad. I think Adidas have this. I think Macy's also have this. They allow people to buy when they try on shoe, try on their clothes. They can buy with a discount in store with an iPad, which means that it will get delivered to your place. You don't have to bring it from the store to your house. It will be delivered in the next 1 or 2 days. That is also a way to make sure that you get the sales. Of course, there's no way of avoiding this discount thing, because that's an incentive for people to do it. And of course, it's a new norm today in the digital era. The prices are going down. And there's no way of avoiding that because people can see the value, the true value of a product. It's so transparent. You cannot hide. You cannot charge more margins than you can, because it's going to be obvious to most people. They can compare prices. They can see the true value of your product.
True. Iwan, I think it's same here in Singapore. I think a lot of us would like to find information on product or showroom, and then after which buy from the bargain platform. But the thing is that I think as a marketer, I think it's even better for you, right? It's even more challenging for you. That's where you actually show your true marketing skills in terms of creating more value, such as after sales service, such as the customers, the CRM, where it's most important, where you cater not just the product value, but the after sales service value itself. I think, if you are able to engage that, then paying a little bit more probably will not make a big difference. Like, take for example, me, when I buy things from Taobao, it's cheaper. But the problem is that the return policies probably takes a while. It takes a bit more hassle. And of course, I say Taobao is getting better right now. But sometimes I would rather buy from a local supplier where I can get after sales service from them, and then perhaps even repair of the product itself. So yeah, I think it's really about up to a marketer to actually think about how you can actually create more values just beyond the product. And of course, price war is always the worst strategy to adopt when it comes to company. So so that's my take on it. So basically, we have our next questions. How long will it take time to make worldwide globalizations and tight economic operations level back to several years, maybe 10 years before, between different countries, especially the East and the West, such as USA and Asians? Sorry, the things are moving. And China. Is that possible to the economic relationship to come back? Okay, I probably will have some questions that are very much related to this. You're looking at the trade wars between China and US, and Asians. We are sort of caught in between. So I think perhaps it's asking about how do you think how long do you think that it will actually revert back to the norm again? I don't know. I seriously don't know. It really depends on the two giants. Um, in our local saying, they said, when two giants fight, chickens step aside. When two elephants fight, chickens step aside. So I would like to think that ASEAN, we do have our value, right? I think we are also one of the fastest growing around this region, or even globally. And ASEAN are actually coming up in terms of importance in a global platform. So what's your take on that, Iwan? We want to hear from you.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not an expert in that field, but my opinion on that is probably very simple, probably overly simplified. I think it's never going to come back. I think that's the new normal you have to face, because this is a battle between two superpowers whereby they want to exert dominance over the others, and because of that. And this is not the first time it happens. It happens before during the Cold War. It's just that now the parties are different. But it's always been the same. It's a battle for dominance, and there is no way for you to avoid that. You just have to live with the new normal.
Yeah, agreed. The other way to think about it, perhaps, if there's a change in terms of leadership, either both, I would like to think perhaps from the US itself, after the election, hopefully the election will produce some good results from the States itself. Not that I'm just pro-China, but seriously, I think that there are a lot of things that they can think about. Now, I'm not going to post the next question for David Chu. I think you have posted there. It's sort of advertising on your company. We do take note of that. But however, like I said, if you want to promote your services on this platform itself, we would just respect your perhaps what you want to do, and then you can always send your requests on your post to our MIS website. We'll help you to populate. Okay, so David, I know this is actually your sort of to promote your proto lab, but don't worry about that. We will not be. I don't think it's questions for Iwan to answer. Okay, Iwan, can you share some ideas on B2B marketing from David also? At this
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Roger. That's the question I got a lot, because People assume that digital marketing is very consumer-based or B2C, but the truth is B2B companies are adopting this model as well, because you see the effect of all the trends, for example, generation gap, it's happening at work, which means companies and organizations are experiencing the same thing. You know, in B2B setting, you serve people account-based, and you have what we call in B2B marketing the decision-making unit. You have this someone who purchased that product, we call it the buyer, someone who actually use it, we call it the user, someone who decides, a decision maker, and someone who influence, we call it influencers. Those are what we call decision-making unit in B2B. It's being decided by multiple people, but it's the same thing. They're humans, and so human-centric marketing works with them as well in B2B setting. For example, I cannot highlight all the ideas in B2B, but I would like to highlight some cases in the B2B content marketing. You know, in B2B content marketing, what we need to know is what do they care about. For example, B2B customer doesn't care about per se relationship, because you know they build relationship through physical relationship, which means that they contact their account managers often. It happens physically, but how do you do digital content relationship with B2B customers? You just have to know what type of content they like. Most B2B customer, for example, would love to have cost saving. Most B2B customers are very rational in their decision making, so they want to be able to buy products or services that can save them money. And to be able to do that, some company that I know have this analytics platform where they show the customers that if you use us, you can save lots of money, and that savings is something that the customer are interested about. So the content is not, for example, like contests, like a very B2C or consumer-based promotion, but it's more addressing the needs and addressing the need for content that are very specific in that certain industry.
Yeah, good answer, Iwan. I think my take would be perhaps to resolve their issues, but also being B2B, they are also price sensitive towards a certain nature itself. I think besides able to resolve their issues. Okay, one last question on my side, Iwan. Earlier on, you touched on YouTuber. Yes, YouTuber. Some of them you really hate them and you really like them. So it's both ways. In fact, but sometimes having them would be good. To a certain extent, being genuine sometimes, and then indicate the opinions of some of the communities out there. So, what do you think the trend would be for all these YouTubers, especially now there are a lot of vlogs going on, and how to actually build a community on YouTubers and how to manage them, because they can be all over the place. Everyone wants to be a YouTuber, want to be an influencer. They're trying to engage the community, so there are a lot of vlogs out there. So, what would I know it's not part of it, but YouTuber, I think it's really our alpha generation right now, or perhaps Gen Z. So how do you think that we should actually address, and what do you see the trend of that YouTuber coming up?
Okay, so one thing that you mentioned already is that the content should be more genuine, should be more authentic. That's obvious. One thing that I would like to remind everyone is that YouTube is actually from Google. They bought it several years back, and because it's from Google, they treat it as a search engine. So you have to be searchable in YouTube, because you cannot rely only on your organic communities, saying that, okay, I have an offline followers, I'm going to put them and direct them to the YouTube platform so I can engage them. If you're not a celebrity, it's very difficult to do that. I think most YouTubers who are celebrity can do that because they have a large group of offline fans, and they just direct them to the YouTube, and then the followers came piling up. But for a more regular people, if you want to build your presence on YouTube, you have to be able to know that YouTube is a search engine. So the things you do on your website, for example, search engine optimization, having the right keywords to post on your website, also happens on YouTube. You can optimize your presence by having the right keywords so that YouTube will recommend your content to the relevant audiences. And that's one of the key aspects, of course, outside of advertising your content on YouTube using YouTube ads and so on and so forth.
Thanks, Iwan. Thank you so much. I think you really need to give you a round of applause for today's session. I think today we are seeing record breaking, in fact, 80 over attendees coming up besides our Facebook. So sorry, I think our Facebook actually went down, not because of us, but maybe because of Zoom. The reason why I'm bringing in YouTuber is because tomorrow we're going to have one of the top YouTuber from Singapore itself. Is none other than Eden Ang, which will be coming to talk about effective content. But nevertheless, for those who are interested in Iwan's courses, please click on that. We don't have a time. Sorry, we don't have a schedule on Iwan's yet. But nevertheless, we are taking in orders. We are taking in requests to attend Iwan's Marketing 4.0 courses now. His course is something that you should not miss, especially for marketers or business owner, that you should know how to actually prepare and drive yourself towards the next platform. Okay, so that's where you need to know about Marketing 4.0. So there's a QR code over there. Scan on the QR code. Address your interest. By the way, we are still, just to bring it back, that we are giving three Marketing 4.0 book that's being authored by Iwan Setiawan, Hermawan, Kartajaya, and Philip Kotler, of course, the father of modern marketing. So please, if you want to get your copy on that book itself, log on to our Facebook, tell us why you need that copy. And from there onwards, we will do a lucky draw among you. Okay? All right, thanks, Iwan. Thank you so much. But nevertheless, yeah, this is the lunchtime webinar giveaway. So remember the Marketing 4.0, which I think Iwan has a large part to play in this book itself. So, and I know they are preparing for their Marketing 5.0. So, yeah, all the best, and for your Marketing 5.0, hopefully we'll be able to see that in due time. So do get your hands on the Marketing 4.0, like what Iwan said, it's one of the best sellers right now. So no worries about that. Okay, so basically, if you need that copy itself, you decide that you should get hold of that copy, log on to our Facebook and tell us why. Okay, the Marketing Institute of Singapore Facebook. Like you said, what you're seeing on screen right now, Iwan is actually one of our, in fact, one of the top gurus of marketing in the region or even globally. So we're certainly very glad that he's able to come on board and share with us. Tomorrow is where we will have Mr. Eden Ang. Now, if you check on Eden Ang itself, he's actually a YouTuber. He has got close to 500,000 of followers on his content YouTube channel itself. Of course, Eden has got his value. In fact, Eden is good in terms of creating content. Okay, so tomorrow he'll be touching on effective content creation, and I believe Eden actually comes from a digital native generation, and he'll be able to show you how you can actually create effective content that will drive traffic. So please log on to tomorrow. It's important, yeah, especially for digital migrants like me to learn from the digital natives. So tomorrow we're still having the same time from 12:30 to 1:30. So do log on to our webinar. Okay, make sure that you don't miss that. 中国的朋友，明天我们还是继续。我们明天呢，就是有我们的那个网红 Eden Ang，会教我们怎么样在网上制造那个 create 那个网络平台。OK， 所以记得哦，上网哦。如果是说你们有什么问题的话，你们可以直接就发问题给我。我有跟大家 share 我的那个我的微信账号，所以你可以直接发给我。好，so back to English. Okay, next. Now remember, we are also having our executive development program. So Mr. Iwan's course is actually part of our executive development program. So you can also check out our other program. Okay, so do log on to our MIS executive development website. All right. which is MI's website anyway, where we have over 120 courses over 9 major disciplines. Okay, right, next. And of course, like what I said, digital marketing, I can't emphasize that enough. If you are not trained in any way in digital marketing itself, you'll be left out. Okay, so I would encourage you all to take up the advanced diploma in digital marketing. It won't take you very long. In fact, we make it very easy for working adults like you and me that probably have limited time. I think it's good to invest, especially during this time, this period of time, in the advanced diploma in digital marketing. So arm yourself at least with an advanced diploma academically. So at least you can claim yourself to be a digital marketer, right? Otherwise, how can we validate that fact? So MIS, we're offering our advanced diploma in digital marketing, so do pick that up, okay? All right. And of course, our diploma in sales and marketing and diploma in business itself, do check that out, okay? Right. So it's open for registration right now. In fact, we do have quite a few digital marketing, digital diplomas in advanced diploma in digital marketing inquiries. We are about to start the class soon, so don't miss out. Okay, all right. We can only cater to that many. So check out on how you can sign up for our advanced diploma in digital marketing. So the telephone number is out there. Otherwise, you can look at our Marketing Institute of Singapore Business School website to find out more. For membership, that's where you can sign up our associate membership, where you're enjoying discount to our executive courses for right up to 20 or 30%. Okay, all right. So if you want, join us, sign up. Okay, especially during this time, like what I've said yesterday, we're giving it out free, 免费。OK， 国外的朋友，如果是说中国的朋友，如果是说你要就参加我们为我们的国外会员的话，请上我们的 MIS Marketing Institute Singapore 平台。我们现在在给有个 promo， 就是我们在给那个免费会员啊，所以如果你要的话，可以向我们咨询一下。OK, thanks. Next. Of course, we're doing a mass donation again, so please, not again, all right? I'm appealing to all of you, help us, okay, to be a more inclusive society at the same time, help us to actually do a help us in our mass donation. You can just donate, right? It's $3 per box. Scan on the QR code and find out how you can actually join us in this mass donation, where we are arranging all this masks to be given away to the underprivileged people in Philippines, to arm themselves a basic mask to protect themselves from COVID-19. While you are very well taken care of in Singapore and somewhere out there, I couldn't say the same for those that are in Philippines, Indonesia, or around the region, especially the underprivileged. Okay, we've got difficulties in getting hold of a mask, so this is where we can show our kindness and do something good. Do log on to the QR code and find out how you can actually help us in terms of mass donation. Okay, right, next. Is that all? Okay, I think we've come to our end of our sessions. Thanks again to Iwan, and hopefully all of you will be able to join us same time at 12:30 on our MI's lunchtime webinar. Okay, so we will be here together with you right up to the end of our lockdown period, even up to our circuit breaker period itself. So do look out on our third series. This is our second series. We're coming out with our third series. I think I'll be one of the speakers also. So if you want to find out more about events management, I'll be sharing my experience of events management. Okay, so till then, we'll see you.
Make more time.
These days, people are wondering how and when the global economy will recover from its current downturn.